Hello and welcome to the week 7 video for Jeff's Cancer Journey. I'm Taj, the other Jeff Johnson, and I appreciate you watching the video. I didn't do a video last week because I had so much technical trouble with the video from the week before that it was actually later than last week's video when it was time to post this one. In any event, this is the week 7 video, and it has been quite a week. I returned to Houston on Wednesday to have my second chemotherapy session. That was delayed extensively. It was supposed to start at 2:30. It didn't start until after 4 o'clock. I left MD Anderson at about 7:30 Wednesday night. Pretty much spent the whole day there. Didn't get anything else done. On Thursday, I was supposed to have my first radiation treatment. Went in, and as soon as they strapped me down in the mask, I started hyperventilating. Not sure exactly what happened, not sure what triggered that and why it happened, but I could not complete the treatment. They had to let me out. The doctor wrote a prescription for a mild relaxation medication. And I took a half dose of that and was able to do my first radiation treatment after 5 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. That ate up most of the day because I had to wait for the pharmacy to get the medication and all of that kind of thing. On Friday, when I met with the doctor on Thursday, the radiation oncologist, he informed me that he is doubling my radiation treatments at the end of every week. I will have one treatment Monday through Wednesday, and then another either Thursday or Friday, and on the alternate day I will have two treatments. Those treatments have to be 6 hours apart. So for instance, this Friday I went over to MD Anderson earlier in the morning, and then I went back in the middle of the afternoon and had a second treatment. With only 3 treatments down and now 37 to go because of the doubling, I'm not feeling much of the effects yet. I feel some tightness at the base of my hairline in the back of my neck. I am doing some fun exercises for that. They have me doing things like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And do that 5 times. My favorite one is the howl at the moon. You hold that for 5 seconds to stretch out the skin and muscles in your throat. Just a lot of stuff, stuff that is a little less weird, like just looking over your shoulder and holding that for 5 seconds, and the same thing over the opposite shoulder and hold that for 5 seconds. It's all designed to keep the muscles loose. You also do some swallowing exercises. This one's fun. I think I may have told you about this before, but if you haven't done this, this is a fun swallowing exercise, and this will strengthen the muscles in your epiglottis area and all around the voice box and everything that is involved in swallowing and protecting your windpipe when food or liquids are going down your throat. Stick your tongue out. Hold your tongue with your teeth or your lips. Don't do damage. Just hang on to it so that it doesn't go back in. And then swallow. It's not easy. And the farther you stick your tongue out, the harder it gets. So actually, as it gets easier, you're supposed to stick your tongue out a little bit farther to make it more difficult. Another one that's kind of fun is, for a guy, you find your Adam's apple, and when you swallow, you'll feel this go up, and that's when it's closing off your windpipe. So you might be able to see this, I'm not sure. It moves up. When it moves up, you're supposed to catch it and hold it for 3 seconds. Anyway, I have to do these exercises 4 times a day. All told, with the dental stuff that I'm having to do, the fluoride trays, the baking soda rinses, the extra toothbrushing, and the exercises that I'm doing, there's close to an hour and 10 minutes to an hour and a half a day of extra stuff that gets added to your life just because you're going through cancer treatments. And some of this will continue for the rest of my life. The fluoride trays, for instance, I'll have to do that every night for the rest of my life. But it's an experience, and not a pleasant one sometimes. Excuse me. The one thing that's really been uncomfortable is I am taking a chemotherapy drug called cetuximab. The brand name for it is Erbitux. The primary side effect of this is a rash. imagine the worst acne though that any kid in your high school ever had the entire time you were a teenager, and that's what this is like. I don't know if you can see, and I don't want to get too close because honestly it's just gross, but I have zits all over my face, all over my nose, all over my lips, chin, neck, all the way down. The rash extends all the way down my chest to the bottom of my rib cage, all over my shoulders, and all over my back, down to about the middle of my back. I am doing everything they've told me to do for this. I am taking all of the medication that they have given me to deal with this side effect of the chemotherapy. It is still extremely painful, and it itches like crazy. I've had poison ivy before. That's a walk in the park compared to this. It hurts. I'm not actually going to do it, but if I put my hand on my hair and move my hair, it feels like someone's stabbing my scalp. I'm just whining now, but I just wanted you to know what's going on. This is what you go through. You have to look at this and you have to put it in perspective and say, okay, this is miserable. I don't want to do this. It's uncomfortable. I really just want to pack my stuff up and go home and be with my family. But if I do that, the cancer will kill me eventually. The tumor would grow and I wouldn't be able to eat and I would die. That's not an option. Is this pleasant? No, this is extremely unpleasant. This is one of the most unpleasant experiences I've ever been through in my life. I described being strapped down in the radiation mask to someone the other day as feeling like being waterboarded. If you've ever watched a video of what waterboarding actually is, the next thing I was expecting to happen was a cloth was going to go across my face and they were going to start pouring water on it. It was a nightmare. But anyway, I took the medication the first time, made it through that. I have not needed the medication since then, and I think it's going to be okay. I think a big part of it was just, I know what to expect now. I know what the machine's going to do. I know what the noises are going to be. I know how long approximately it's going to take. And I understand what's going on. And I also got some very encouraging news. I had complained a little bit earlier because it had taken so long to start treatment. My radiation oncologist has delayed my treatment 3 times, tweaking my treatment plan. And what I was told by the technicians who were doing my radiation was that I should feel very blessed that I have this radiation oncologist. His nickname is the Mad Scientist. And they said that he is very particular. He is very type A about the treatment and the radiation beam and what it touches and what it doesn't touch. And they showed me on the mask where my primary treatment locations are. So basically I have a rectangle that stretches, probably a little low, around here, which is where the tumor is located. It's a little bit off center to the right because they're getting the right lymph node. There's no cancer in the left lymph node. So they're getting the tumor from this side and the tumor all the way around here and then extending up and getting that right lymph node. But then the technicians told me rather than just doing a lower power general treatment to the rest of the area, he's got about 40 different little micro treatments programmed in where the machine is moving and it's like going over the salivary gland and then shooting through the space and hitting the tumor. And then it's, going back here and finding a space and shooting and hitting just the tumor and skipping the salivary gland or trying to avoid the taste bud. So apparently my doctor has just gone way, way, way far above and beyond to try to reduce the lifelong side effects that I will have after treatment. Now, I've got 3 radiation treatments down and I've got 37 to go. So obviously the side effects during treatment are going to get worse. I'm already hoarse. I already have a sore throat. I can already feel the tightness inside my throat. I'm doing all the exercises to try to keep everything loosened up. I'm putting on the lotions that they've given me, the medication for the rash. There's a lotion as well as an antibiotic that I'm taking that's supposed to act as an anti-inflammatory. But it's, this was 3 days of treatment and it was pretty rough, and this is just the beginning. So sharing all of this, I realize it sounds like whining and complaining, and I apologize for that. That's not my intent. What I'm trying to do is communicate this is real. This is what you go through. This is what you experience. And this is on top of the stress, the isolation, the concern, dealing with, they talk about people being cancer survivors from the moment you're diagnosed. I understand that so much better now. It's not just that you're a cancer survivor. You survive the treatment. You survive the side effects. You survive the stress. You survive the isolation. You survive the phone calls with the insurance companies, with the people that you want to reach through the phone and pinch their heads off, but you can't do that because A, it's not possible, and B, it's illegal. But it's definitely a journey, and it's going to be a rough one. But I do want you to know I am greatly encouraged by all the comments on social media, by the messages that I get. I got this amazing care package from the kids in my church, the 5th and 6th grade students in my church. They made these handwritten, hand-drawn get well cards, and to let me know that they were praying for me and that they're taking care of my 12-year-old daughter and looking out for my wife and taking care of them while I'm away. It was just a real blessing. And there have been a lot of what I call God winks through this. Another one of those happened when I kind of freaked out over the radiation treatment when I went back that afternoon to actually do that first treatment. And I had taken the medication, but I'd only taken half the dosage because I was going to have to drive later, and I didn't want to be able to get home before midnight. But the technician asked me what kind of music I'd like to have played, and I said contemporary Christian. And she said, "You mean like the music that they play, the praise and worship songs that they play at church?" And I said, "That would be great." She smiled. She walked out of the room, turned the music on. She came back in, and they started getting me ready and getting me positioned and putting the mask on. And a Meredith Andrews song came on. I can't remember which one it was, but she started singing along with it. And she had this really pretty voice. I'm sure she sings in the praise team or in choir at church or something like that. But she started singing along with it, and I just felt this total sense of peace, just this reminder that God's got everything under control and this is going to be okay. I know this is going to be rough. And there may reach a point, honestly, I wasn't too sure I wanted to do this video. I'm not real happy with the way I look right now. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm looking at the monitor on the camera right now, and all I see is splotches. It may not look that bad to you, but I know that, it's going to get rough later on. My voice is going to get gravelly and hoarse. It may be difficult for me to talk. I will eventually have some burning from the radiation that will look like a really bad sunburn. And I may reach a point where I don't want to do a video anymore. But right now I'm going to continue doing these. Hopefully I will be more succinct and they won't be as long as this one. But I do appreciate you checking in and watching the video. As always, feel free to post comments or questions. I love hearing from you. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, those of you who have. And if you have any questions, as long as they're not medical questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If you ask any medical questions, I will refer you to the fine folks at MD Anderson because they definitely know what they're doing. Thanks so much, and let's kill Fred.